Hey guys, this is a product review for the game Villainous. Um, this is what it looks like. It has quite a few pieces, so you definitely want to take a minute to read through the directions and understand how it works, or hop on YouTube and see it. Sometimes visual is a lot easier. Basically, it's kind of a spooky themed game because each player is one of the Disney villains. So you can see these are some of the different game boards. We have Jafar, Captain Hook, Ursula, Maleficent. So each player picks one character to be for that game, and then this is your game board. So I have Maleficent open here. I'll push that to the side. This just opens up like that. So that's what that is. And then we have each of these pieces corresponds to the different villain. So this is the Maleficent one, and this is playing across your board. And then, yeah, it's a lot to explain the game, but each individual villain that you're playing has this deck and then also this deck. So we have the Fate cards, which are these lighter cards, and then we have the villain decks. So those are the darker cards. So as the villain, these are going to be the cards that you're more excited to put down and play. So they look kind of like that. Maybe I'll show you some of them. Basically, I'll just say, like, this is a fun, spooky game because you get to be playing the villain, which is pretty rare. That doesn't happen in a lot of games, and I don't know, especially around fall, October, that can be really fun. But you can see the art from the Disney movies is in there, and then these cards have different moves that you can make. Even though this is a small game board, you're moving back and forth to achieve your objective, and each villain has a different objective, which they make clear here. So depending on who you are, Maleficent wants to have curses put out there. I think it was Jafar wants a bunch of power. Yeah, so you learn as you're playing a different character. You have these tokens, and you play the tokens as you're using these cards. You can see the number 1 there. So and the tokens are in here, and then your rivals or your opponents would be using these fate cards against you. So these are, if I'm Maleficent here, these are bad cards for me because they're putting down like sort of truth. Like the heroes here, if that gets put down, then when it's my turn and I land on here, I'm gonna have some issues. So I know I didn't explain the game and how it's played that well. I just wanted to give you an overview of what the dynamic is like, where you have your game board, you have tokens when you're playing your cards and doing different moves. There's a little bit of competition back and forth with the other people where you're like playing these fake cards against their board. And then you have this cauldron of tokens that you can get more of, and then use when you have certain cards you want to use to achieve your personal goal as one of the villains. These are the decks for the other villains, the villain deck and the fate decks. You can see Prince John, Queen of Hearts, and what's really cool is that you see like it's like the different movies are kind of colliding. Oops, that's that way. So you get to see, like, Alice in Wonderland stuff up next to Maleficent stuff. And I haven't played a game like that before where you have all these different movies kind of like mashing up next to each other. So these are the fate cards. So if you play an Alice, Queen of Hearts cannot move allies or items. So if you're just seeing this for the first time, you don't know what an ally or an item is, but as you're playing, you would understand what that means. So just on a top level, there are good cards and bad cards for the villains, and it's just a different angle, and it's really cool to like mishmash all of these different characters together. Let me see, this is the villain guide. So you get to see what she's up to and what she's into, what she's playing for. I think it's really interesting that you're not just trying to get the most points as a villain. Each villain has their own distinctive thing going on, and totally unique cards that relate to the movie and the characters in the movie. So really cool game. If you're a Disney fan, this is really fun to play, and it's definitely a little bit of a twist compared to your average Disney game. So really cool. Definitely worth picking up if you're a Disney movie fan.